Are you drawn to this image or are you drawn to this image more? Just whatever your first gut reaction was. This one always kind of reminds me of Aries. And then, of course, we've got our beautiful high priestess. So, like, which one do you like more? We're going to go with this one. So, if you picked that one, stick around. This might be a reading. Let's see what's actually around you first. I have a feeling April's going to be a really intense month for the world. Thank you, Cosmos. So I've just been getting a lot of downloads that like there's some shit coming in, and some people are already energetically feeling it. So that's why I want to start with what's actually around you. Collective reading time. Okay, so source, what is actually around this collective right now, energy wise? They're just flipping. They're flipping out of my hands. Ow, that's nice. One more. Oh, perfect timing. Oh, this card gives me goosebumps every time. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll just see. So the first card that came out was the mountains, and this is all about blocks, obstacles, things that have been stuck, problems, things that have been distant and cold, detached, indifferent, barriers and interruptions and delays. That you see, I'm hearing, and both don't see. Like energetically, like there's things happening, shifting in the darkness, in destiny, the realm of destiny. What am I saying? But you're only maybe feeling it and then seeing sort of the aftermath effects, especially because blocks being what's actually around you right now. Again, kind of aware of most of it, but not all of it. And then at the very end, you've got perfect timing of this spread. Sign. One sec. Okay, so then right next to your blocks and obstacles and delays, you've got kind of a card about chance. It kind of feels like the opposite to perfect timing, but it's the clover card. This card's kind of weird, and I've been meaning to take it out of this deck, but it's called the happy coincidence, like feeling lucky. It also says unexpected rendezvous. Um, Feeling good, good fortune, carefree, a reward, something that's short lived. I'll have to see what comes out with that. But then you've got the owl, sing through the facade. That is such a special, magical bird about secrets being lifted, knowing what's going on. So if you picked the high priestess, it's because you would embody this energy to some degree. I kind of see that as the same sort of vibe. And then the dolphin card. That's about peace, harmony, and effective communication, being playful, humor, being in collaboration with others, and then something about perfect timing. So this is what's actually around you right now. Again, I think you're only really totally aware of this one, right? Because if blocks and delays are trapping your ass, you're not really going to see the rest of this unless you're in like a perfectly calm, centered, balanced state, which like let's be real, that's just not life. I definitely don't think you see this clover card or clover energy. So let's just get one for that right away. 2112. You could be seeing mirroring numbers a lot because I don't usually notice numbers. But when I do, it's kind of important. So what's this clover around this collective? Sun energy. You tell me if you're aware of if you're sitting in this place where you're just happy and vibrant and full of life and success and, victory, warmth, divine masculine energy, gender neutral, of course. That's what's underneath this clover card. That's really interesting. Let's get your emotion. Because this is kind of like all over the place. I want to see what your actual emotional baseline is right now. Possessive, disgusted. Oh my God. Those are intense. And stress. Look at all the red. Your root. Oh my gosh. So I was onto it with you don't see this, like two cards that are supposed to indicate like this very light, carefree, happiness, living in the moment, unexpected rendezvous, Um, and then the sun card, which in tarot is the happiest card in the deck. This is what's actually around you, but you're feeling this. So it says disgusted, appalled, outraged, shocked, angered. Get away from me with possessive. You're mine. These are kind of opposite, right? Like something in your root chakra is being really triggered right now. Monitoring, watching, suppressing insecurities and dominating, but then stressed, pressured, burdened. tense, worried, agitated, troubled. And while I was reading that possessive, I was hearing energy around you. Even though that's what we're getting right now with this oracle deck, I, I actually heard it in a way that made me feel like maybe this is energy, like somebody else's energy that's around you. Because this possessive is really sticking out to me. If you're going through some sort of like glow up or um, fulfillment where you're just like basking in this radiance, um, and someone's looking in, like that's the feeling I'm getting from this. And then this stress, I feel like this stress is a little bit you. Let's just see. Let's see, what's this disgusted? Longing. What is going on? Missing you, yearning, pining, needing, wanting, nostalgic, craving, and wishing. Hold on. This is going to get so confusing if I don't break down how you're seeing your world right now, because I really do think that there might just be energy around you that's affecting your frequency. And pink and the red, like I didn't want to really wear pink today, but I was like, no, I think I do need to wear pink. What do I want to get? So let's see how this collective, how you are actually seeing your world, like what you're focusing on right now. Ace of Pentacles, Two of Wands, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. That's that mountain card. And Nine of Cups. Oh my God. So this has got to be energy around you. We'll see what comes out to confirm each one. But your Ace of Pentacles life, I always call this my Midas touch, because when it grounds, it's like every single thing in your life turns to gold. You've been working so hard towards a certain goal, certain dream, certain ideal, and you just haven't given up. And through the tests and the monotony and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, that's about being stuck and bored and disinterested and losing focus, because the opposite of it, and I'm so tongue-tied, you must be tongue-tied because that's not normally me. The opposite of Eight of Pentacles in reverse is all about that mastery and dedication to a craft or skill or pursuit or path. And that would go perfectly with this Ace of Pentacles. Like, it takes years to achieve this, and a lot of people never will because they give up after a couple of years, right? Or they see their path change and they get disheartened, not realizing that the skills you learn along the way to achieving this are all going to culminate towards the success of it actually grounding. Pentacles too, in tarots is earth, so you could be earth sign ruled, but just came to my mind. Two of Wands, that's about a reassessment of the future. That's about feeling like you've got some options ahead of you, but they're really big decisions. It's not like, what do we eat for breakfast today? Or maybe I'll pick up a Pilates class. It's like, do I do this career or do I move, or is this partner the right person for me? Or do I get a divorce? Like, they're big. By the time you walk down the road that you've chosen, if you decide you made the wrong decision and you walk back, the other road will no longer be there. That's the energy of Two of Wands. With Eight of Pentacles, feeling bored, stuck, stagnant, stalls, delays. Again, that mountain card. Nine of Cups, personal emotional fulfillment. I see the nines as cards of independence. Just, it can be about wishes coming true, and it can be about like partnerships and stuff, but I see it more of just being able to fill your own cup, emotional wholeness. And that doesn't mean being, la 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 constantly, because that's again that's not real life. It's a little delusional, and it's how you suppress and repress. But it's just about understanding that you have the tools that you need to get out of emotional turmoil and or soothe yourself and or like weather the storm, like whatever it is. So this is how you're seeing your world, and I'm not seeing anything. The disgusted, the possessive, the stress. The only negative card here is Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Let's get one more for that. Queen of Swords. So in the face of defeat and in the face of things that you get bored and sort of lose focus with, you had a Queen of Swords approach to it, and she is all intellect. She moves completely with the mind, and she cuts through the bullshit. She's very fair, and she's very sharp, very intelligent. Swords ruled by the mind. That's a great approach to have, especially because I feel like this is path. I feel like this is life, life goals and your journey and like clearly inner healing. But with Ace of Pentacles, Like that's all about mission work and your career, but having it tie into all the other areas in your life that make you feel complete. See, that's really nice. Like the longing and the disgusted, that's external energy. So I'm wondering why the emotion cards picked up external energy right away. Because let's get these for you. So this is collective, how you're seeing your world. What's your emotion towards this? I think that is the breakthrough card. Reflection. Joy. See how they're totally opposite? Oh, passion. Totally opposite. Like again, I think the stress is there, but like who doesn't have a little bit of stress in their life? Passion, joy, and reflection. Stop. That's beautiful. So that tells me two things. One, whatever this energy is that's coming in, it's someone who clearly has access to you, or someone who's clearly like, you know, was or is an important part of your life. Because for it to be coming out first before your actual emotion, it's very heavily in your energy. And two, what's actually around you with that first deck, and then those emotion cards is external energy. That means that source is trying to show you, or will show us, right? That I think this is affecting you in a way that you're actually maybe turning the corner on, is what I'm hearing. Is very interesting. We'll just see how it goes. I'll try to keep everything organized so the message doesn't get like hard to follow. Although if this is your reading, it won't be hard to follow. But that's emotion is really nice. I want just one more for that Ace of Pentacles, and then we'll keep going with the other deck. Because again, that's a huge goal to be achieving. I don't think it's like totally landed in your life yet, but I think you're well on your way to like really solidly putting it down. So 10 of Cups in reverse with 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So that would be what your hurdles were in getting to your Ace of Pentacles life. Feeling disconnection and misalliances with people. So you were probably, before you really started to work on your journey and your self-improvement, you were just surrounded by people who didn't get you, you know, didn't want more out of life in the way that you did, or didn't see the things about the world that, you know, in the way that you did. Or, God, I'm so tongue-tied. That is so your energy too. And also it felt very conditional, these relationships with people. 6 of Pentacles in reverse is all about conditional giving and feeling taken advantage of, and things that feel one-sided. So if you were the type of person who clearly has a lot of drive, grit, and determination, moves a lot with logic, even if you do have a very kind, centered heart, you would have been surrounded by people who were the opposite, to sort of trigger you into realizing that you were not in the right environment. So people who are emotionally driven, who were, you know, like, well, I don't care if that's true. That's how I feel about it. You know, like just a little bit unstable emotionally. And you felt like you were always giving more into those situations than you were getting out of them, is what I'm hearing. 10 of Cups is really hard because it can also be an indication of a broken foundation, even outside of like isolated situations. So like your childhood trauma would be triggered, and you would have just, without you knowing it, gotten used to accepting dynamics that were fundamentally yucky, right? Like just not good for your growth. But turning that into an Ace of Pentacles life, that's nice. Okay, so that we've sorted out the energy, we've clearly got 2 big energies here, or I'm hearing 3. Universe's perspective, someone who's connected to you, or a situation that's connected to you with multiple people, and then you. Although I have a feeling it's probably just one. The longing and the disgusted. Let's put this fella, lady, bestie over there for just right now, and let's continue with what's actually around. Oh, one sec. Okay, I have a feeling that this, because the colors kind of match up, and they're kind of like, I just feel like they go together, that like Clover card and then the Sun card. So we'll break that down in just a minute, but I want to see what the obstacles have been around you, because again, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's been really stuck. What are the obstacles that have been around this collective? Oh God. So the obstacle was you focusing, doing more research, examining the fine print, trying to get more information about a reconciliation. So you hyper focusing on some sort of reconciliation here. That was always an obstacle. So they're clearly drawing me like my attention to your state of mind, which is you're clearly not in that now. Some sort of breakthrough has happened with that energy. But that is what has created the block, the barriers, the interruptions to your Ace of Pentacles life is constantly focusing with this magnifying glass energy on this reconciliation card. This card also says creativity, beauty, harmony, being expressive, gratitude, warmth, openness. But for that to come out and for me immediately to be like, oh, the reconciliation, like, and you would know. So you were holding on to some sort of frequency of longing and desire. And that was always a block here, which now I'm looking at these, the disgusted and the longing. Maybe this part is you. Again, we'll break it all the way down, but feeling disgusted out of how much you've been longing and how much you've been yearning and wanting. And now you're like, oh, what was I doing? Which I find when you let go of that frequency, you do kind of give yourself the ick because you're like, what was I thinking? Like whether something big has happened or not, like when you're just released from that prison of yearning and craving, you're kind of like, God, what was that? But that's always been your block. That's always from the universe's perspective. That's what's caused a lot of delays is you hyperfixating on it. Very, very common. But again, for you to be in what you're in, it seems like that's on its way out. What's this owl card? You seeing things from a higher perspective? What was that? A change of heart. And what did I just say? Perfectly confirms it. So you seeing through the facade is actually what I think is releasing your energy right now and realizing that there's a lot of opportunities ahead of you. You don't just have to hyper focus on one opportunity that may or may not have been missed or clearly didn't work out in the past, that you have the freedom to make the choice. And in that freedom, there's a lot of possibilities. This is a transition to new beginnings for you because you finally seen through the facade. This is smelling very, we'll just have to see. I don't want to jinx it. But this is giving a very specific vibe. And if this collective, if you chose High Priestess, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's just see what comes out to confirm it. So what's this peaceful and effective communication that's around your energy right now with the dolphins? It's been developing over time. So that also tells me too, if one of your main blocks was some sort of reconciliation and or creativity energy or both, like some sort of happiness and joy, whatever, you actually weren't in a place in your contract, in your life skills, in your journey to call that in. You needed to work on the ability to collaborate with others and find joy and be lighthearted and find peace and harmony. It was going to take time. So remember how I said that Ace of Pentacles life, it takes years. I mean, this card confirms that you've been really working on it for years, that you've been trying to establish your own family legacy, right? Either independently or with other people, soul tribe. But alchemizing, ripening, and aging well, coming out completely transformed. I'm not a wine snob and I don't really drink. I drink like maybe once or twice a year, but a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to taste the difference between like a newly bottled wine and a really old one, and I fucking get it now. I hate that that's a thing. Like, I'm not a wine snob, and I don't really care about wine in general, but they're onto something with that. And I think you're starting to realize that too. For that story or that thought to come into my mind, I think you're probably sitting in your life right now like, you know what? I'm so glad that a lot of the shit that I wanted in the past didn't come through because I would have fucked it up. And that's true reflection. And I tell people to do this all the time. Like, think back to a time where you really wanted something to work out, really wanted something to come in. Like, would you even have been ready? Or would you have just repeated a cycle in the past? Sometimes we are so protected from the things that we want that we just don't get them because we'll mess it up. Or like the situation we're in is not conducive for it. It's all about positioning, which I talk a lot about when I do readings about magic and being a witch and alchemizing. Like, you have to be in the right position to do things. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So what's this perfect timing? Because again, universal energy, you don't see this. And every time this card comes out, it tells me that Again, there's something under contract that's been the whole time just on that very slow train coming in, and it'll be a culmination of a lot of things. So standing the test of time too is also what this card says. So Source, what's perfect timing right now? Or what is that card about, I guess? Actually, I want two more. One more. I don't know why I wanted three, but another bird. Ooh, that's interesting. So you get the scythe, the sunrise, and the hummingbird. So hummingbirds or owls could be important, or you could just be seeing a lot of them right now. I know we're coming into spring on Turtle Island, so you might be seeing some hummingbirds, like just generally. But I'm actually seeing some with some like pink flowers. They're so cute. Sorry. Anyways, sometimes I get lost in the things that I see. It's almost like a movie, but another card of pink too. This happy beginning, new day, darkest before the dawn, clarities, obstacles being overcome. Always was under the veil of perfect timing. It was always under the veil of down to the millisecond, some sort of destined path and puzzle piece that was going to be put in the exact right place at the exact right time. But then you've got this scythe card. It's kind of so this card doesn't always have to be something that's painful, something, but it does say sudden, unexpected. It could be an accident, some sort of cut and release, a harvest. Oh my god, the way that you are tongue tied right now. Maybe do some stretches. Maybe I need to pause and do some stretches, but that energy is always so intense when I get wrapped up in it. Some sort of harvest, a liberation, a shock, ripping off of the band-aid, a surprise, and a reckoning. So you see how it could be like something good or something really sort of painful, but with it right next to this sunrise card, which is about new, happy, beautiful beginnings, an awakening and a fresh start. And then one of the happiest birds, the hummingbird, enjoyment, being present, rapid responses, understanding your resilience, knowing where to go to gather your sweet goodness, your nectar, and lifting out of negativity, your lightness of being. That really truly is in your energy right now because I saw it in your emotion cards. And this happy beginning, again, I mean, you probably don't see this or see any sort of marker of a new beginning other than your progress and your growth, which has taken a long time. But this, it feels like it might be a surprise, especially since I went into that little bit about that perfect timing. So let's just see if they'll show me. Although I think everybody deserves a surprise. As someone who loves to see things coming, literally is my job, I'm always so delighted when I get my own surprises. So let's just see if they show us what this scythe card entails. Oh, some sort of next level agreement. You get the diamond ring. Some sort of promise, some sort of statement and intent, some sort of marriage or union, some sort of proposal. You could literally, because if you were in a state of like such longing, yearning, possessiveness, and now you're coming out of that, you could really be opening up your frequency to meeting your person, like your actual person, right? We'll just have to see. Because this, now I'm getting like really excited. I want one more for that diamond ring. Oh, so you got the stallion and the fox. So breaking free from things that were more self-interest and deceitful and made you feel like there was sleight of hand and there was always something off and there, it was cunning and sly and crafty. You're breaking free from that emotion. You're breaking free from the idea that, just because you can't see what's going on, it's immediately bad. That's what I'm getting from that card. And those driving force, those strong emotions, it's really setting you free right now. Again, do I think you're having like you're waking up and you're just like, oh, brand new day? No, I think it's been trickling in very slowly over time because of this wine card. Um, but for you to be breaking free from that fox behavior into this diamond ring energy, which will feel like a cut and release and a liberation from what you've been going through. That's really nice. That's really nice. Let's see what's around your heart space right now. Because again, I'm still not this. obviously could still be you now that we've seen what's actually around you. But my initial gut reaction was that there's also some sort of energy tied to this. You could be cutting this energy out, making room for the new, or there could be some sort of metamorphosis with this energy, right? Um, I've been known to be wrong too. Like this could just 100% be you, and there's new energy on the way. But I'm not really known to be wrong that often, unfortunately. So let's just see. Let's just see what's actually around this collective's heart space right now. So there's that longing and that desire. You get the camera card is the only one that's up. The love card, the unconditional love. Oh, the runner. What was I saying? I knew it. So this runner, it can also be about codependency, about fear of intimacy and listening to your ego, which, let's be real, if you identify with the runner chaser dynamic, that is just smothered in codependency. No judgment, but like you would know that because of the place that you're in. Like emotionally, like that wouldn't hurt the right collective's feelings. Like you know that your gripping and longing and possessiveness came from the idea that you were not enough, right? Frustrated in relationships and lacking confidence and self-sabotage and fear and ego and jealousy, like the way they line up with those emotion cards. But again, when this first came out, I think you were more in the chaser dynamic because of this longing. And now there's sort of some sort of running energy. I'm just going to say it because it keeps coming to my mind. And the way my clairaudience works is it'll be really quiet at first, but the longer I put off saying something, kind of the louder that it gets. And that's when I know, like, okay, we just need to say it. This feels like a switching of the veils in some sort of divine dynamic. Which I recognize in personal readings and just over the period of time I've been reading tarot, which is almost 2 decades. Like one person who was in this longing, chasing, stressing, possessive, sort of energy, you get kind of grossed out by yourself because the veils switch, which is controlled by the divine, creator, source, God, whoever you pray to. And then you come into this place where you're like, what the fuck was I doing? Because you start working on yourself and realizing like, ooh, we don't have McDonald's money, right? We have stay at home and make food from the fridge money, but apply this to your personal, journey. You'll get what I'm saying. That, your behavior can be a little shocking. And that also I find is a true, a recognition people go through when they're really healing, is like just admitting to themselves how insane or, weird or out of alignment their behavior had been in the past. Like that's a recognition of growth, to just be able to be like, yeah, what was I doing? Like, I'm sorry about that, or whatever. If you're still in the place where you're like avoiding even recognizing how some of your behavior is very unhealed and unstable and out of alignment, then that in and of itself is an indication that a lot of work needs to be done. So long tangent, but anyways, I'm just feeling so giggly, and I can tell that that's also your energy. Stumbling over my words a little bit, but also just like really excited and chatty. This runner, fear of intimacy, you've been that, sure. Felt not enough. This reminiscing, this keepsake, this camera, yeah, you've definitely been doing that, but then this unconditional love. So perfectly aligns. This one feels like external, and this one feels like external. Not gonna lie. Let's see what comes out to confirm it. But this self-love, this love card, the reason why I wanted to wear pink. It's about coming into oneness. It's about understanding that, when we're in that lower vibrational, whatever place, where we're just not feeling great, it's not going to last forever. And taking note of that cycle, it's almost like a pendulum. I reposted this video. It was like one of the first videos I reposted, where this guy is talking about that pendulum and recognizing your emotional pendulum. And if you can recognize it, you can actually shorten the distance between your highs and your lows. I think this collective, you're really coming into that, and it's actually really beautiful. So what's this runner, this codependency? Fear of intimacy and listening to ego. The Grim Reaper. So finally recognizing within yourself when something is done and over, when there's no second chances and there's silence and there's obstacles, the blocked, the indifference, the cold, the that mountain card. That is actually what's releasing all this energy, is just being honest with yourself. I see this a lot, and I understand it's a really hard thing to get through because personally I've struggled with this so much, especially being a connected person. Like, you're clearly a high priestess of some sort of connected being. It's really hard when we see our future, get intuitions about our future, and the downloads and the synchronicities and the dreams, and then it doesn't come into fruition and you start to feel like you're crazy. What's happening there is two things. You're trying to continuously live in an old pattern of thinking and behavior that society has placed upon you from the time that you were born, right? And that's really, really hard to do. That's a lifelong journey to break out of that pattern of thinking, like, oh, well, all the things that I'm intuiting, I'm just crazy, and get back to work and increase shareholder value. Like, that's breaking out of that cycle. And again, that's one part. But the second part is that even if you do see all those things, like, you don't know when it's going to happen, and you will never get all of the details 100% correct. So you can see this love, let's take it externally, the beautiful, long lasting life partner, committed relationship. And if you see it, it will happen, but you don't know when, you don't know who, you don't know how. Like, that's all things that you don't have access to that information, which is also something that drives people crazy. When you get to a point where you actually just start being honest with yourself and realizing that the way things are right now is the only information I should actually be working off of, and then going within and healing the things that are constantly trying to contradict that thought, which is like the codependency and the fear of intimacy, that's when the energy starts to shift. It's like, yeah, we can see, all of these beautiful things that are happening to us, but like, what is happening right now? It's good. I really love this energy. But again, that is what is unlocking this energy for this collective. So if this hasn't been some sort of similar thought pattern or way of thinking or type of healing message you've been telling yourself and working through, again, have discernment. Hang out with me if you want. I love that, but just have discernment towards the message. Make sure you're not actually applying it to your life if this is not what's going on with you. Because at the bottom of this Grim Reaper card, it says grow and transform your life. That's like, you're like, this is done. I'm going to grow and transform my life. And look at what you're getting. An Ace of Pentacles out of it. Lovely. What's this? Frustrated, not enough, fear, ego, jealousy. I like you. Someone likes you. Romance is blooming. So what I'm hearing with this is a couple things. I think for a long time, you were telling yourself, well, if someone really liked me, then they would just come towards me. And that's what made you feel like you weren't enough. This is what's shifting, I think, most prominently, is that you're saying, wait, hold on. I am enough and I do love myself. And there are people out there who would want to date me, but I just have to put myself out there first. And that's going to require, again, all the inner healing and realizing that you are enough. That's like the strongest thing coming through. But I also think that, hold on, let's get one more. There it is. What did I say? This. And that's what I was thinking, is because I think the veils are switching. If you're actually in, which universe is saying you are, in some sort of twin flame, red thread, divine counterpart, soulmate, soul bond, twin soul, whatever. The label doesn't matter. You're in some sort of connection. You signed into your contract to be connected, to trigger the shit out of each other and start personal growth. I think that's where that veil is also switching for the energy that's connected to you. So I think because you've let go of a lot of the other shit, it's having like a ricochet effect. And that's why your contract is being activated. So we might not even need to get your actual contract for this person, but this is probably going to be a long reading. So let's see. What's this reminiscing, this camera? Learning from the past, Cupid's arrow. Have faith. Love is coming. Surprise invitation or meeting. That's why I think this is external energy, because I think someone is actually pulling on your energy and clearly in your energetic sphere, and they're looking at you, looking at pictures of you, watching videos of you. Like, so if you're not on social media, they would have something saved. Um, and I actually just saw like an external hard drive. Not really in like a creepy way, but I mean, I've got an old phone that I won't get rid of because it's got pictures on it and it's so glitchy that I'm like kind of afraid to try to transfer it because I don't want to lose them. It's kind of like that energy where it's like some sort of digital archive that someone has, but it's like old. I don't know. Again, we'll get connected energy here in a minute. Um, what's this love? Unconditional love, self-love, oneness. Paradise. Ooh, what a nice pairing. Happiness, joy, expansion, playfulness, another card of oneness, but enjoying each other. So because this is, and this is what people talk about when they say, well, this is what I talk about when I'm talking about frequency. It's what you project out, your auric field, right? Like my profile picture. Hold on. So I actually got this done for the first time last time I was in New York, which was last summer. And it was one of those old school ones. It wasn't like the digital one because like obviously like it's been I can't even pick it up because it's been printed, right? But like the hands on the conductors, whatever, you're sitting in the chair and then they take the picture. But like this is what we're projecting out. And by the way, we have bioluminescence. Don't believe me, look it up. We just can't see it in one another. So imagine it's another type of bioluminescence. What you project out. So see all of the purple. See how it's like there's like a little crown. It almost looks like a high priestess crown in like traditional tarot, and the white and then the blue when it comes to communication. On that day, I was specifically wearing my aquamarine choker. And so I think that's why it's really concentrated kind of around my head. But all the purple, like all the colors mean something, but this is what I was projecting out on that day. And I've been wanting to get one done. There's no one in my town who does them, but I've been wanting to get another one to see what I project out now. Like I'd like to get one once a month, but what you project out. When you change your frequency, you project out a different type of energy. And you can only really do that long term by changing your thought pattern, right? If you don't change your thought pattern, then your frequency is really unstable. And what you send out to call in is kind of muddled or misconstrued, or you just won't call in anything at all because, again, it's a very chaotic message. This collective, you have been projecting out with all the color of like red and pink, and like the fact that I chose to wear pink. What you're projecting out is actual love for yourself and acceptance and oneness. So guess what? Now you're calling in something having to do with your divine contract. Does that make sense? I just felt the need to explain that because a lot of people are like, don't really understand frequency, but it's like it's literally just like the projector of energy that's coming out from your meat suit, which is just like electric meat. That's all we are. We're just meat with electricity in us, right? Um, but also too, if you ever have a chance to go get an aura photo, it was a really fun experience. And if you're in New York, the one I went to was in Chinatown, and I think it was like $15. But it was so much fun. But also like I just love Chinatown. So let's see. So this is what's actually around your heart space. And again, it comes from you like being like, things are done. I'm moving on, working on myself. This is not enough. Like that's not true. I am enough for me, which is activating your contract. But then this Cupid's arrow and this reminiscing. Let's get one more for that. Because that's obviously connected energy. The sunglasses, another card of watching. Stop. Watching, looking, stalking. It's not the stalking. This card also says gaslighting, perceptions, off and focusing out. I don't think it's gaslighting or the stalking, but another card of watching. Perfectly confirms what I was saying about this row. Oh, look at that. I split it and there's no card. When that happens in a deck, it kind of means that the energy is like really hyper concentrated on whatever came out before that. That's kind of how I read that. Anyways, okay, let's see. So we got how you're feeling, what you're focusing on, what's actually around your heart space. Let's get into this other person real quick. Hold on. Actually, before we do that, I just want to see how your energy is shining to creator, whoever you pray to, your ancestors, whatever. because it just feels so light and bubbly. It's like very refreshing. So how is this collective's energy shining right now? The gazelle. I haven't seen that one in a while. The nightingale and the lizard. So you are magic. Well, and you know that. But the nightingale is all about using your voice and understanding when to use your voice. You could also be someone who likes to sing. Like, if I was hearing someone singing as talking, like I do that with my dogs all the time. Um, and there was a reason why I brought this out. Oh, confirmation. Your throat chakra would be really ignited right now. But the lizard, that's all about like truly being magical. I'm hearing too, maybe you need to get some sun in, do some basking under the light to really ignite that. Okay, so the nightingale, fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. And you had like 3 cards in that other deck about learning how to communicate. So this card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, or let it out. So that really also confirms what I said when I saw that. Watch the whole thing from the beginning. And always do that for my readings. Like, if you don't feel drawn to watch an actual whole reading, not all in one sitting, but that would probably mean it's just not for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, hang out with me if you want. But when I said you've been craving that bouquet card and really examining the fine print when it comes to that connection, but in reality, you were not ready to have that conversation. Source is saying this is in your energy now. So you've sort of mastered that dolphin and that hummingbird card that came out. Another bird card. You must love birds. Little dinosaurs, but the lizard, instinctual, sensitive, and the subtle dreamer. It's an expert at the realm of sensory perception. And that's why you would have been stuck in that magnifying glass energy, because nothing gets past you. You're a natural oracle. And so you're constantly taking in information, sensory, energy, all this, the visual, the smell, like you're always cataloging energy. It would have been so hard to not be interpreting things constantly and getting stuck in your mind. It says, although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, loss of travel, and overstimulation will drain the lizard of their magical essence. It's an indication to pull back from the bright lights. And big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name, or excuse me, any sort of, and now I'm like all choked up, any sort of creative pursuit that you have that, like, I think that's the closest you can get to our creator is by embodying that energy and creating, right? It's just something we do. It's not like a task. It's just a way that we express ourselves. But then the gazelle, and again, I haven't seen this in a while, so I don't even remember I can't remember the last time this card came out. Heightened awareness and ability, but vulnerable. So the gazelle represents supreme grace. It emits a sophistication and an elegance. Personalities like this are often hyper aware of their surroundings. Perfect. So you had it like on a double-ended sword, right? So not only were you embodying this lizard energy, but it was heightened by this gazelle energy. Oh my God. Super overwhelmed. No wonder you're stuck in your mind. So that also means that whatever you're doing for your life path, because again, divine dynamic, that's the only way that you release the longing and the desires, by focusing on yourself. You must be using now your perception in some way, shape, or form. That's your path. That's your mission. Now you're applying it correctly, and you're not just hyper focusing on whoever that person is. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. And I do think, because joy was one of your emotions, that's actually what you're doing. It's really nice. You're just such a natural empath, though. Like, it's really hard to balance that a lot of the time. Now I'm hearing too, maybe that's why I'm so tongue-tied, and you're tongue-tied, because your energy is trying to stop you from constantly expressing and also constantly observing and just sitting in surrender. What's that gazelle energy? The zebra. So you're one of a kind. Oh, that's one of my favorites. So, and you have one of those personalities that's exciting and adventurous and full of life. I see this as like the Page of Wands almost. It's also a card about travel. And it's funny too, because this lizard was like, hey, you need to chill out on the travel, sit back, enjoy life. But I find that people who are ruled by this energy, you could be a 3, like a life path 3. If you don't have some sort of excitement, you get so bored. That 8 of coins in reverse. But you have to really knuckle down and just not get bored with the monotony, because your soul craves adventure. It craves movement. It craves things that are different and exciting and culture and experience. Like, that's really nice. I love that combination. What's this nightingale? Oh, the octopus. So when you were not standing up for yourself and learning how to communicate eloquently, you would have been, and I'm not saying this as in a judgmental way, but you would have been the type of person that was like, not like all talk, no action, but the things you're saying wouldn't have had substance and it would have been draining your energy. This octopus card is all about, like, I kind of see it as like a mini energy vampire card, but that's what you would have been calling into, is people that, just want to, I'm hearing that like small talk. There's nothing wrong with small talk. It's how a lot of people, interact with each other. It's like a cultural norm. But if you're the type of person that's craving deepness and you're craving adventure and you're craving something else, it would have been wearing you down. It would have made you feel like, what's the fucking point? What am I doing here? I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about, the construction on the road down the street. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So until you learned how to surround yourself with people who truly get you and say what needs to be said, you are always going to be stuck in this octopus energy, constantly reaching for new experiences and being drained at the same time. What's this lizard? The sea serpent. Oh, look at that. I'm going to read that one too. That's a beautiful transition. So healing emotional wounds and expressing desires perfectly aligns. So the sea serpent represents the energy of expression. Bullseye. Whether it's emotion, creativity, sensuality, or desire, the sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear and shame. The root. Remember, I was like, oh, look at that root chakra. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment, that not enough card. And we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in muddy waters. This octopus card. It's important to remember, no matter what waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like, this is such a beautiful transition of energy. I can't wait to see like what's coming next for you, like your end tarot, but the way that this again, I have to double down, this takes years. That wine card, it takes so long to become self-aware of these patterns and not harbor guilt and shame and self-hatred and just see them as things that you need to work on, right? If you want to, of course, but like becoming self-aware, acknowledging a lot of these things and just very gracefully transitioning out of it over time by being gentle with yourself and gentle with others and, aligning yourself with what you're really meant to align with. It's really nice. Okay, now let's get the person. Oh, butterfly was on the bottom. True transformation. Let's get who you're connected to. One sec. I think I'll get them every deck that I got you. Do you think that'd be fun? Okay, so, but we won't get as many for each one because I don't know if I can do a 2.5-hour reading today, but let's just see what's actually around them, like we did for you. And then we'll see how they're seeing their world and their emotion and how Source sees their energy with maybe one of these. Okay, so Source. What is the energy actually around the person connected to this collective? Oh, storm brewing, ball and chain energy, but the wine and the mountain card. Ooh, that's really intense. So just as you're releasing a lot of this frequency, look how it's ricocheting back. All right, so now they're being faced with a lot of obstacles. Let's be real. These two are just obstacles, and I think it's brewing a storm in their soul. We'll have to see what comes out with the wine. But what's the obstacles for the person connected to this collective? Oh. That was the tree card. The vulnerability and the lack of grounding. So understanding that they are special and understanding that they are one of a kind and they need to be handled with care. That they need to be precise in order to initiate some sort of change of state, and that they need grounding. So I'm seeing this as things that they have not realized need to change, and that's what's causing obstacles. Their personal growth and the where they've put roots down, it's really kept them stuck. Health could be a problem here too for this person. You may or may not know that, but it says connection to source. For that to be under the obstacle card, I think they're in a place in their life right now where they're just realizing that what they've been investing their energy in and the things that they've believed for so long are barriers and interruptions and delays to their progress. It's a type of stubbornness that they actually need to be a lot more vulnerable with themselves. Um, be transient. That's not bad. I want one more for that though. Let's see what they've been rooting in unsuccessfully. The mask! Who they project out to the world, their disguise, the way they've concealed their vulnerability and who they really are, their ego and their projection, which has been some sort of hidden motive in their subconscious. It's always been a presentation. It's always been a performance. That is a profound realization, but boy, does it hurt when that happens. Putting on a show. Oh, that's rough. It makes sense though, because again, in this deck, Source said that you guys are in some sort of, divine connection. So again, as you're healing, there's always one person who starts healing first, and you pull along the person you are soul tied to with your energy. So you guys go through the same sort of cycles in your own ways, but it's a progressional thing, right? This is another problem I see online. I'm going to try not to rant about it too much in this reading, but a lot of people believe that they're in some sort of divine connection, but the person that they are connected to isn't healing, isn't going through self-realization, isn't going through a lot of this stuff where they're understanding their mask, right? They're just stuck. And until the other person actually starts healing, then that dynamic doesn't exist, right? Um, you guys mirror, but not at the exact same time. But like, you both do have to heal, right? This person, to be confronted with how their ego had kept them blocked and stalled. Check. That's a good sign of progress. What's been developing over time other than that? Oh, their star energy. Feeling peace and understanding that their dreams really can come true, and feeling hopeful and being inspired. The Star in Tarot is also a card about surrender and like connection to source and spirituality. That's been developing over time in them. That's really beautiful. So that means for a long time that they were really stuck in the mind frame that life is just hard and life sucks, and this is the only way it's going to ever be. And you probably would have known them to be a little bit of a pessimist, and they would have played it off as being a realist, but that was just, again, their mask. They're starting to see the magic in the world. It takes a long time for that to happen, especially in the twin flame dynamic, but look at how it's happening. That's nice. So what's also been keeping them stuck and weighed down and been a heavy burden? Because they got the ball and chain. Oh, divine intervention. So which means you would have gone through a divine intervention moment too, at some point in your journey. And so you'll know that all those restrictions and the burdens and blah, blah, blah in their life, they were never going to remove them on their own. And I do see this a lot too. Whoever activates second in that dynamic, usually it's like the external towers that really shake their world up. It could happen for both you guys. But either way, like, once you activate that timeline gets activated. So if they're not making the progress, guess who steps in to sort of course correct? And it's literally, you're soul destroying. Like your whole world gets ripped apart. It's like towers on top of towers because, again, on the wrong path for so long, you can't just walk it back a little bit. You have to be plucked out of that reality and put into your new one. The job, you know, the partner, the pets, the living situation, the family, like everything shifts. Everything. So divine intervention is at play in their life right now, and it's literally at play to remove the ball and chain that they're shackled to. It's to be really interesting to see how they're seeing their world with tarot. I'll get that right. I'm just gonna get one more for this storm brewing. Torn up, a total wreck, something that's been sudden and unexpected. That's a divine intervention. Oh, so it was their job. That was the first domino that tipped over. Something about their resources and their finances and their investments. What did I say? The things that they've been investing in. That was the start of the cyclone to like rip them up from their life. Um, a breakdown and a liberation, something that's been over and done. And that's not just like a company being like, oh, we're going under in a month and like, here's a severance package. That's like you showing up to work and the doors have been, everything's boarded up. And you call your coworkers and nobody's answering the phone and you've got rent due tomorrow and you haven't gotten your last two paychecks. That's that sort of energy. Um, Oof, that's intense. Let's see how they're seeing their world though. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Let's just get these. All right, source. How is this person seeing their world? Just get a few. Seven of Swords. Oh no. Talk about the mask. Three of Wands in reverse. Those are those restrictions. One more. The Hierophant. Oh, love it. So, actually, let's get one more to confirm that. Because I was hearing programming. And he has a card about, like, societal expectations. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So, the mask, right? These two cards can be very synonymous. It's the concealment and the lying and the, the betrayal. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Penny, what are you trying to tell me? Hold on. I don't know where it was, but we'll get back to it. But while I was feeding the hounds, I was hearing big boons. So right now, because whatever is going on with the person that you're connected to, it's financial, right? That's probably the first domino that tipped over, and it'll be the cascade that's being affected by this double rainbow energy. This is so common in the divine dynamic, where it's like, as you start to release and actually sit and surrender and you're in your mission work, you start to see those waves of prosperity come in, right? Because this journey is not about money and it's not about material wealth, but because you're doing your mission work, which you signed up to do, your actual soul's purpose, you start to become very successful. And again, that doesn't just mean like you get rich overnight, but you start to get recognized for the work that you're doing and making connections, and you just start to see an increase. That tells me that, because again, that would have to be true for the right collective, because look at what they're going through financially. They're going through some sort of restructuring. So on the other end, the person who's leading the energy collective, you'd be seeing an increase as they see a decrease. Make sense? Because there's so much here about their mask. This Seven of Swords, it's not just about in the way they're seeing their world. They're seeing things, of course, their ego, but they're seeing a lot of things that they weren't seeing before, and it's making them feel like, we'll get their emotion here in a minute. It's almost, how do I describe it? It's almost like they're seeing their world as like completely fabricated, right? Like nothing had legs to stand on, which is a good realization. Is it painful? Yeah, but divine intervention's at play. So that's what they're supposed to see. Like, oh my God, none of this has any intrinsic value to my soul going forward. Not to say that the people and situations in their life are worthless, but it's like they're seeing how out of alignment that they are right now. And it's creating three ones in reverse: the lack of progress, the stalls, the delays towards the big things in life, the path, the home, the, family, the love, like stalled. There's been a lack of progress this whole time. Whereas before they were probably just sitting in Delulu land and being like, oh, well, one day everything will come into place. They can't ignore it anymore. And again, it's the programming from their belief systems and culture and society that's been creating this Eight of Swords upright. That's a prison of the mind. This figure can walk away anytime. None of those swords are in the body, but they can't see past their own grief and their own pain and their own anxiety to actually get out of it. That's what this person is focusing on right now. I do think that they're coming into divine masculine energy because he is a figure of that, and they're forming their new rituals and their new sort of structure and boundaries. But again, like they're seeing like, oh my God, why the fuck did I believe in this for so long? Or why did I follow this ritual of work and, do this and then this will happen? The societal programming. Perfectly aligns with the way that the energy's been going on your end and how you're pulling them along. I just want one more for that Seven of Swords. Oh, so much here about work. King of Coins in reverse. That's what they're seeing has been deceitful and lies and hidden persona, and the motives is my green-eyed monster just being materially wealthy. It's all that they were chasing. It's hard because a lot this wound, and you probably do know this about this person. It comes from wanting to feel safe, right? Growing up in an environment where they either grew up without resources, which is really common, and so then that's all they focus on as an adult. But also, I'm hearing it could have been that they had all of their material needs met as a tiny human, but none of their emotional needs. So that's how this person would fulfill their emotional needs, is by chasing after all of those material gains. He's also very jealous, very possessive, very controlling, and very stubborn. So makes sense with all this energy. That's what they're seeing their mask has been this whole time, the stubbornness and the wanting of possessing just the achievements of whatever society it says is an achievement. That's nice. Let's get their emotion really quickly. What's this person's just emotion towards their life right now? An awakening. Ugh! Check. Perfect. This is so good. They're going through an awakening, and this perfectly confirms every single thing that's going on in their energy. It's a profound realization of inner truth guiding you to see deeper meaning in life. It's not only the elevation of consciousness, but a deep understanding of existence. When an awakening occurs, you will feel inner encouragement and inspiration. I do think that they're getting a little bit of a fire under their ass right now. I'm not going to lie. Let's get one more for how they're seeing their worlds. Oh, they're sitting in love. Selfless respect and wanting the best. Feeling, I'm not going to lie. I do feel like they're, because in my head I was thinking like, oh, I'll get another one for how they're feeling about you right after this. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think they're starting to understand love for themselves and, the world and life and energy and blah, blah, blah. But also, obviously, this is tied to you because it came out in your energy too. Special place in their heart, a deep connection, devotion, feeling romantic. That's nice. Let's get one more for their emotion, like specifically towards you. Oh, shameless, but loyal. And look how the colors match. So this shameless card says, if you don't like it, that's your problem. Do what you want, say what I want, or do what I want, say what I want. No empathy, shame, and very forward, but loyal, faithful, true, genuine feelings, serious, loyalties with you in allegiance. I think for a long time, this person was like obviously they were behaving very shamelessly. If you're in a real twin flame dynamic, you guys are assholes to each other, like truly horrific to each other. It's just a way that you trigger each other into self-awareness, your true mirrors. But they would have seen your loyalty through all of that, and all it would have done is ignite in them, like triggered them truly down to their core, and they wouldn't have known why. They would have lost all respect for. I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings, you would know this, but the more you guys chase, the more they run, and they just don't understand why you hold on. They just don't understand why you're loyal in the face of them being so shameless. But I think that's what they're starting to realize through this awakening, and it's leading towards like actual love. You got that unconditional love in this card. So that's really, and like again, all the colors are lining up, which I really love. Let's get one more for this. The fear. And I think that comes from their realization of how things used to be and how wrong that energy was. So maybe they haven't come to a place where they're actually understanding we'll get their intention towards you here in a minute, the twin flame dynamic. They're clearly going through an awakening of some sort, but I think the fear, let's get one more. I think the fear is more about the realization of the way things were and being like, oh, that's actually way worse than I thought. One more. The abandoned. So that is what is perfectly confirms. Even when they would run, and you were so loyal and they were shameless, they are like, oh, I fucking abandoned this person. And this would have been one of their traits. That's what runners do, is they run from all the fires that they create in their life. They're probably also seeing all the different ways that they've abandoned all the other situations in their life. And also at the very core of it themselves, they've abandoned their true life, their true mission, and their, true emotions and who they really are, blah, all the whole thing. Given up. This too, I think maybe they're afraid that you've given up on them, left behind, unwanted, that you don't care, doing things without them, and that you don't desire them. So you guys are clearly in no contact, because otherwise, they're looking in and they're seeing you feel filled with joy and happiness, and they would probably think that you don't care. But that's a stage that they got to go through so that they actually lock in and try to change. It is the fear of being abandoned by you that is one of the final steps in the twin flame dynamic. They have to truly believe that you're gone. It's the straw that breaks the camel's back in their mind, right? That's when the veils like completely shift and they just beeline you. Guilt at the bottom. Yeah, they do. I do believe that they feel guilty for what happened between you guys. But it's a two-way street with divines. Like, you guys are both equally as horrible to each other, and you know that. Okay, very quickly, I want to see how Source is seeing their energy. Source, how are you seeing this person's energy? Oh. The scorpion, the starfish, and the fire ant. Oh, really lines up with what's going on in their world. But the scorpion waits, and then boy, do they sting. So it's that repression, it's the mask. With the fire ant, oh my god. So they are a little prone to anger right now. And I'm not going to lie, I think the anger is genuinely directed at themselves and the time that they've been wasting in their life. It's not a waste. But again, this really does also double down on the idea that they're not totally in the mind frame of, oh, well, everything has to happen for a reason in this life path that they are living. They get there, but they're not quite there yet. And then the starfish. This, I know they're awakening right now, but this is still ego. The starfish is about relying mostly on beauty and what other people think about them in order to have self-worth and confidence, and then also projecting that out and only being drawn towards the, it's the shiny object syndrome. So that's how Source is seeing their energy right now. Let's see if it's transitioning. Butterfly! Look at that. Perfect. I ask a question and Source is like, don't worry, ultimate card of transformation smacked over the very top. That's good. That's very good. Okay, good. So that's not as much of a red flag as I was feeling it was. But again, the Source is putting that mirror in front of them with the emotional lessons. And it's coming out as the scorpion, the fire ant, and the starfish. Let's get one more for how a Source is seeing their energy, like through this transition that they're in. The eagle. Oh, I'm going to read that. That's nice. What a divine bird. They could be seeing, I'm hearing a lot of eagles right now, or even hawks, like as a sign. Like maybe they've allocated that as a sign. Not that you would know that, but just heard it. The butterfly and undergoing great transformation and change. That's the butterfly, and then the eagle. Oh, there it is. All pervading power, truth seeker transforms karma. So they're ripping through that karmic shadow right now, which is really good. If they can clear off as much karmic debris as possible so that you guys don't have to, like, it's not still in their energy. Like, you'll never clear out all of it, but the noble eagle emanates the light of the sun, true divine masculine energy. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents the mastery of the elements of fire and air. And when this card appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of transformation. Oh, I love the way this fits. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You're stronger than you think, eagle child. So I think for a long time, and again, really lines up with the divine masculine journey. They just don't think that first of all, they just don't even know what's going on in their life. They don't have any self-reflection. They're totally self-aware. They just run, set fires, leave, create a new fire, leave. Like, they just don't get it, right? They are avoiding every single lesson that is piling up in the back, just ready to dogpile on them when they become awakened. And typically they'll get little inklings of that sort of, pressure cooker in the background that's ready to explode for years. But the thing that triggers it is the person that they're connected to finally letting go of the running and the chasing and the longing. And it's not like it switches like that. It's little bits at a time, right? So it's like that. If you've seen that video of someone describing how grief works, and it's like that glass in the sink with like some sort of red liquid, and they turn the faucet on, and it doesn't just like all the red liquid comes out and then it's just clear. It's very slowly over time. That's that wine card. So as soon as you guys started actually healing and working on yourself, that's when that pressure cooker started to get louder and louder and hotter and more dangerous. And then when you guys finally release and the veil switch, which creator's in charge of, boom, that's when they get the, oh my God, sometimes it's the divine intervention moments, it's the towers, and they cannot run from it any longer, because once the rose-colored glasses come off, they do not come back on. And it's been such a theme for me in collectives for the past 2 weeks. There's been people awakening, and there's been people who genuinely do not want to be awakened, even after they already are. So I get it. Really in line cosmically with what's going on right now. But again, this really lines up with the divine masculine journey, because look at where the collective divine feminines are right now. So they are not just avoiding and aware of their issues. I think if the veils hadn't been switching, it just would have been these three, right? But they're going through that actual veil switching transformation where they're locking into change. And until this happens, it doesn't fucking matter what you think about your relationship, what you think about this person, what you believe about divines, blah, 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 blah. Until they get this energy to actually grab the power of their mind and the power of their path in their talons, it doesn't matter. This person is genuinely doing it. Oh, it's so nice. Like, you cannot make change until you accept the truth, and those truths are painful. And everybody talks about wanting to know the truth and just wanting to have the clarity and just the answers. But can you handle what that actually means? Because the truth is objective. It has nothing to do with what you want. This person's finally accepting it, understanding it, and wanting more, which is really great. Okay. Peacock at the bottom. They're starting to understand that they are a rare bird. So now let's get how they're feeling about you specifically. We saw it with that love card and their emotions a little bit, but let's just see what this person is going over when they're thinking about you. What's that, Leo? And new beginnings. Let's leave those out because those feel right. What is this person thinking about when they think about you? Or going over when they think about you? Oh, the gluttonous gossip. I hate this card. The insecurities. Oh, so this is what would have been your guys' block. And this Leo card really goes along with the gluttonous gossip and the insecurities. And there's obviously some sort of memory here. So this Leo card, it says, I was used to being the central focus of everyone's attention, but your magnetism outweighed mine, and I was insecure about that. Insecurities came out, obviously. if you really knew who I was and how I felt, you may not love me anymore. I'm afraid you'll reject me if I show you who I really am. So you see the way those two really compounded on each other? And then to make it worse, what the narrative they were telling themselves in their head, other people had actual opinions about you guys. And again, you would know this. It says, I'm an idiot. I spoke about our connection as if it was trivial. I didn't respect the sanctity of our connection. And instead of keeping things between you and me, I allowed others to interfere. So this person, because you're a natural firefly, you're some sort of high priestess, some sort of divine connection, right? And you just glow and you just emanate and you're unique and adventurous. And I'm seeing that zebra card. You're all those beautiful things. Instead of this person you're connected to seeing that glow and understanding that if you were connected to them, that they also glowed that way. They took it as some sort of threat and because they were insecure, right? And when they were feeling insecure, which comes from a place of low self-worth and self-hatred and thinking that they can be replaced, they would, when you guys would get into some sort of squabble, which was inevitable in your dynamic, they would tell other people a narrative about you specifically that would prop them up. Right. And because people in their life just want to make them feel better, they would agree. Right. And they would perpetuate this narrative in this person's head, which would feed more of those insecurities. Because no matter what this person said or believed about you, it would completely contradict who you actually were. But that's how perception works. What we see is what we believe. What we see, right, what we believe in our head is actually how we frame our reality. So until these things change, there was going to be no hope with you guys. It was constantly going to be combative. And it would have been really disorienting too. Because if this person was so this self-unaware that they had all these insecurities, and then other people were also not on your team, you would have been like, what the fuck is, like, there's no external stimuli here, right? Except for you just being who you are. And I know I said that there's always, 50-50 in a relationship and you guys were, fucking with each other. But look at what ego and shadow does to a relationship. This is awful. And they're going over it now. Yeah. But, I can only imagine how this person would have put you down to try to prop themselves up. And again, because it comes from ego, it wouldn't have worked. So it just would have been damaged for no reason. This gluttonous gossip card too. I was hearing, and you would know this, you would have been doing the same thing. Because if someone has that energy projected at you, then what are you going to go do with your friends and your family? And be like, this person's saying X, Y, and Z, and that's not even true. And then you would have your army, right, from the gluttonous gossip. I think this person obviously started it for all the reasons that I've said. But you would have mirrored this in your own way. God, it's awful. I want one more for those three. And that's that. I'm hearing, it's that shameless card. Doing what I want, saying what I want. What else was on that? So if you don't like it, that's your problem. Ugh, gross. Doing what I want, saying what I want. No empathy, no shame, and being very forward. That's the mask. Oh, that would have been awful to deal with. Truly awful. I mean, it's good that they're recognizing it now, but no wonder they're a little bit worried about coming towards you, because rectifying that. One more for those three. This has pissed me off. It's good, and I'm smiling because it's really good self-reflection and it's great transformation, but I'm so fucking mad for the past, for you guys, because you've always been this. Always. And so have they, right? But we're talking about you right now because I'm on your side. You have always been a magical muse. You have always been a firefly. You have always glowed. You have always sweat fucking glitter and stardust and been a cosmic fucking child and been magic embodied. And look at how it triggered them. Oh, God. Fucking insane, right? This is what ego and shadow does. Look at the way it transforms and distorts someone's behavior and someone's perception. So this card, again, this is what they're genuinely, this is what's coming to the surface now, is like, oh my God, I was self-focused, shallow, and insecure, and I talked shit about you when you were always this. It says, I became inspired by your presence, your energy, and your beauty. Without you, I'm missing the tools to create my next masterpiece. A great source of artistic inspiration and beyond. A lover, a friendly infatuation, or maybe a stranger that, no, it's not that. It's not those last three. But magical muse. You were always there, muse. I love the transition of energy, but again, mad for you for the past, because that's bullshit. All right, so they're clearly thinking about this new beginning. This is, we need to let go of our issues and work through our struggles by recognizing what went wrong and how we both played a part in it. I love you too much to let you go. Let's start again. This is what they're wanting, right? They clearly haven't come towards you with this, but, and I've said it maybe 3 times now, you both, they're on to the money here with the, we both need to admit our faults. But I think, again, what's holding them back currently is this bullshit. Like, oh, well, I treated them like they didn't fucking mean anything and to put them down endlessly and talk shit about them when they've always been magic. So how do we create a new beginning here? You know what I mean? I want one more for that. Oh, what was that? The glow up. And you, I bet you are. I bet you are. Magic. Oh my God. Magical and powerful. You got there's only 2 in here like this about like the energy you're radiating out being literal magic. It says, I used to limit my goals and place myself in a box based on what I was told I was capable of. But since meeting you, my views have changed and expanded. And I'm trying to dream big. Because of you, I know I deserve more. So also, they've seen your transformation and it's literally been inspiring them. And that is how you change someone's perception. You can't do it with words. You can't do it with effort. You have to just, if you want, like, you should never have a self-transformation so that someone else has a different opinion of you. But you just have to let go of what they think and just do what you want to do. Because again, what we see is what we believe, regardless if it's actually tethered to reality. This person is seeing your transformation through your growth and your healing and that wine energy, and now they're seeing it for the magic that it really is. It's nice. All right, what's this? Either memory or important time period for you guys? It's winter. So it's December 22nd until March 19th. Although, even though we just kind of got out of that, right? What's even today's date? Who knows? But just winter in general. So it doesn't have to be those specific time periods, but whenever winter is for you guys. December, February, March. What is this? Winter. Whoa. That's kind of a chunk, but it's been a while since this came out for a collective, and I haven't been like, oh, this person's fucking dreaming. And I don't think that this person is dreaming. I genuinely believe that they're coming into this energy, working on their divine masculine side, needing to be more assertive and confident and speaking up for themselves, understanding that they can no longer bow down of things and situations when they become fearful, but fight for what they love, which would include you. Like, I don't think this person's delusional. I genuinely feel energetically like with that eagle card, I do believe that they're coming into that, which is really nice. And then they got the visionary card, which says, I finally see and understand everything I'm feeling, and I'm feeling hopeful for the future. I'm envisioning you back in my life while continuously working on myself. And that's why I believe it for them, because of all the other shit we've said, but because they came out together. It's really nice. And then this union and instinct card, and it's so sappy, I can never get through this, but it's basically just about how they want to be committed to you. Working in perfect rhythm with each other, being seen, heard, valued, and respected, and then also returning that, like cherishing you and being cherished by you, but being fully present with you, mind, body, and spirit. That's nice. I've had a string of like really good ones lately, so this is nice. You guys could all be in like a wave of some sort of divine connections, coming in for either a reunion or another cycle. So that's their true intention towards you right now, which again is really nice. I just want to see very quickly if there's something they want to be saying to you. We'll get those two because they've been really wanting to stick in my hand, and then we'll get you tarot. All right, so what does this person want to say to you, or what's on their mind, I guess? Oh, that's sad. You were right. So I'll have to see what comes out with that. But why do I have a feeling that whatever that is, like, just intuitively, it kind of feels like I'm actually hearing you were right about it all. Like, you must have at some point told this person, like, even outside of your guys' relationship, you must have given them some sort of hard truth. Like, if you don't do this, this is the way your life is going to go. And I think that that's what that you were right is about. We'll just have to see because I just keep hearing like you were right about everything. You were right about it all. So they're also, because they're seeing you as magical and powerful in like several different ways, they could genuinely be in that also stage, which I love when this happens. When they stop fearing your guys' gifts as a psychic, a seer, a medium, whatever, even if that's not what you're doing for your life path, they like stop being afraid of it and they start seeing it for what it is, which is just magic, because that's when they start recognizing it within themselves. And it says, I want to make it up to you. And with that divine masculine energy, I truly believe that they do. But then there's the how could you ever forgive the mess I made? That's the fear. And then I don't want to be the reason that you cry or the reason that you're upset is what I also heard when that came out. So what's this? You were right. The passion is too much. So whatever it is, and I really do think it was just like everything you've ever said. I think it's really igniting in them. I don't think it's like passion in a positive way. I think it's like igniting a lot of just very intense emotion within them. Like I'm hearing discovery, but realizations again, they're not always fun. They can be quite painful. What's this? I want to make it up to you. Past life regression. So maybe they are just on that cusp of understanding the actual like 5D connection. They're going through an awakening, so they're destined to understand it fully at some point, but maybe they're starting to really like understand like, oh, we've repeated this cycle life after life. I'm actually seeing like a birth chart. Maybe they've started to do the digging deep of the actual connection between you guys, like looking at their birth chart. I don't know if they have yours, but you guys would know each other's birthdays, so you could sort of get a lot of the information. You wouldn't get your moon sign, or the houses totally right, but like I saw a birth chart very specifically. So maybe they're even doing like past life regression work, like, mantras, meditations, what's it called? Astral projection, or trying to do like lucid dreaming to like tap into that archive in their soul, or even like hiring someone. I want one more for that. Two more. Is it over? Oh my god, look at that. I didn't realize there were, because I combined this author, or this whoever makes this deck made a newer version, and so I just combined them. I didn't realize that there was two of the same. Look at that. Is it over twice? So now I'm hearing it's maybe like they're really, that's the fear, right? Because to have both those cards come out twice, the fear is like, is the cycle complete in this life and you guys are being written out of your karmic contracts? It's really hard to explain like what I'm hearing, because it's not words, it's like I'm hearing like scissors cutting, like in paper, almost like a cord cutting, but with paper. Like that's the sense I get. I don't know, for the right collective, that'll make sense. How will you ever forgive the mess I've made? I never meant to hurt you. So that's that self-reflection. They're truly seeing their actions from a bird's eye perspective, that eagle card. And they're realizing that even though they never meant to hurt you, they genuinely did. That's hard. That's really hard. I want one more for that. Two more. I see you when I close my eyes. And why is it that you love me? That's that loyalty with that selfless. And this is like these sort of things are all controlled. If you guys like, you guys are in a twin flame dynamic, so they're all being controlled largely by source, like the downloads and the synchronicities and all that stuff. But again, they're getting dogpiled on right now with a lot of that stuff the way you guys do at the very beginning of your awakening when you're in that chaser mentality. And they're just like, every time they close their eyes, they're probably getting visuals of you, or like, so you remember it's a really intense phase. And then I don't want to be the reason that you cry. Why do I feel so lost? Hold on, one more. I'm working hard on myself. So this is, I think that's the past too. Like, I think they're remembering all the times that they made you like deeply, deeply upset and hurt you and, whatever. Um, and that's like kind of the pinnacle of where they're working on their self-awareness right now. And it really confirms the divine masculine energy. They're working hard at this. They're not just like thinking about it and being like, oh, whatever, I got to change that. They're like really deconstructing it, because you and their entire life is really like replaying of all the different ways it hasn't been working and the ways that they want to fix it. All right, last one, and then we'll get your tarot. You mean more to me than you think. So this person really does believe that they are either very close to losing you or they already have, because maybe your guys' last point in contact was you telling them that you're done like forever, or whatever they're seeing from you. I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is a reading that I did, and I wasn't going to post it, and then I posted it because one of you beautiful angels that I just love so much was like, oh, I want to see it. So I can't remember when I actually posted it though, but I'm hearing myself say it. Like, they think you don't care. They think you don't give a shit. That's what I heard. Maybe this is that collect. That would be intense, because that's quite a shift. I think that was only like a week ago. There's no way, but that's what I was hearing. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm like trying to think of how that would have tied it. Like, how clearly this person thinks that you don't care, or that they don't care about you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's getting all mixed up in my mind, but they have not shown their hand. They've been very masked, running classic runner chaser dynamic, and I think they just want to tell you that you mean more to them than you think, right? Okay. Oh, what's that? Values, holding back, and mend. Okay, well, yeah, that kind of tracks. I just want a few of these, and we'll get your tarot. Cycle, fate, karma, something ending, but something's about to begin again. I wonder if the wheel will come out in your guys' tarot. Earth sign, and I think I said that at the very beginning. You could be an earth sign, but something's grounding right now through challenges, because you both are making the decision to work on inner healing, and then something that you've been intuiting. But don't ignore the red flags, because if there are red flags, we'll find out. I want one more for that cycles card. Air sign, but being trapped in the mind, bad at communication. Air sign and earth sign, that could be your pairing, or it would be in your guys' big three. It's an important detail. What's this earth sign? Love spell. Feeling bewitched. I have a feeling that you are the earth sign, or that's in your big three, because magical and powerful with that love spell card. And then what's this challenges? Health. So it's well, we know that. We know. But remember how I said maybe there's been health issues and you may or may not be aware of it for that person? I think that that's been another challenge here. Or you could even have some health issues that have been challenging. And then intuition. Yes. Luck is on your side. That clover card that I just saw. I want one more for this air sign. That's the energy around this whole thing right now. Honeymoon. This is attending someone's wedding. Maybe they are attending a wedding soon, or maybe you are. But I also see it because it's that airplane. I always see it. Now I'm back in your energy. I always see it as a card of travel. God, the airports are so fucked up right now. I can't imagine anybody would want to be traveling unless you planned this like way in advance. I want one more for that. But this is also about the honeymoon phase. So we all know what that is, right? Spy. That's your spy. Whoever is an air sign or has it in their big three. Someone's got you in their sights doing more research. Okay, that's good that there's no communication cards. I was wondering if there would be, as like what's around you guys energetically, but I'm going to leave those there. Because again, that lines up with this one. There was Cupid's arrow, but it's that arrow's being pulled back, but it hasn't been let go of yet. Look at that. Three of Swords in reverse on the bottom, and it's trying to come out. Let's see if it actually does again. All right, what comes next for this collective? Like, what's the next point of contact here? If there is one right now. Eight of Wands in reverse, taking time to align. There's your Ace of Coins. 2 aces! Let's just see. Okay, so, you got 3 fucking aces. Oh my god. It's kind of a mixed bag. So, you've got 8 of Wands in reverse here. It was the first one that came out. And that's about, again, it's about hold, blocked, delays, but that was what's in your first energy, like your first card in this part, right? What's actually around you. So that really lines up. It could still take a little while, but then you've got Ace of Swords upright with Ace of Coins upright. Boy, do I fucking love this pairing. An epiphany and awareness, clarity, driving force, compelling truths and vision with a new beginning. Abundance, stable, security, potential. And then you've got King of Wands in reverse and the Devil in reverse. And that's about unhealthy, codependent, karmic attachments and implants with a lack of energy. We'll have to see what comes out with those. Because if this is the next point of contact or just what comes next. And then you've got Ace of Cups, a time for reflection, tuning into your intuition, repression, but holding back. So like this is clearly what's been going on with you, and like this is obviously what's going on with them in a weird way. I want one more for that King of Wands. Or maybe this is all the stuff they're going to want to talk about. I'm going to lose it if you get the last perfectly this is okay, sorry. Just got so excited because this like quadruple confirms what's going on. Remember how I said that the person that you're connected to, like finances, is the first domino that started to fall? Look at how this really confirms it. So this lack of experience, ruthless, boorish, King of Wands in reverse, he's unpredictable because he's got a fucking temper on him. But money issues, legacy issues, family issues, that divine intervention, that tower's fallen right now in their life, which again means they need time to align or have it align. But the love of money. Watch the whole thing, because I went into a whole thing about how that, like, their energy and what they were focusing on and why they ran. What's this unhealthy patterns? 7 of Swords. Look how it's following this person around. Oh my god. The false pretenses and the self-interest over the Devil in reverse. The cheating, the lying, the mask. That's what they were connected to. Karmic situations that were a part of their mask. But they've been taking time for reflection. So that's their only saving grace, that Ace of Cups. Let's get one more. 5 of Coins. So they're clearly already in this right now. And that's 5 of Coins is rough. That is, oh god. That's feeling left out in the cold. That's being abandoned. And unfortunately, they have to get a taste of their own medicine in order for them to change. And that's actually how a lot of people fucking work, is they have to feel the wrath of their choices and their way of thinking in order to understand that it's not good. Right? That's like self-awareness in a nutshell. But financial loss and or ruin, it can literally be a card about bankruptcy, although I don't feel that for this person, but harsh conditions that create the abandonment. In traditional tarot, it's a figure that's in the snow, like huddled in the snow outside of a very beautiful, well-lit church. And that's the energy of it. It's like salvation is right behind this person, but they are too frozen, cold, and abandoned in the snow to get to it. Clearly, that's going to take time to align, right? What's this Ace of Wands? Six of Wands in reverse. I don't like that. Well, that would be why taken time to align for you guys, right? Some sort of self-centeredness, some sort of being a follower sort of energy, not thinking for yourself. One more. Queen of Cups. So that's nice. It really tracks with. This isn't, I'm not getting the feeling that this is what's coming next. I think this is just confirming, which means that surprise. They're not going to tell me. They're not going to tell me because you deserve to have a surprise. I'm sorry. That's just what I'm hearing and feeling very clearly. Because again, this lines up perfectly with just where things are right now. Queen of Cups, over the time that's taken to align, watch from the very beginning of how you're seeing your world and what's going on in your world. Perfect. Puzzle piece fits perfectly right there. Let's get one more for your two aces on this side. You got the pairing. King and Queen of Cups. Emotional mastery. So when you applied your yang energy correctly, because you finally started sitting more into your yin energy, Queen and King of Cups, inner duality, inner harmony. Also, you guys are obviously twin flames, so you got the pairing, which is what that tells me. But highly intuitive and kind and understanding, that's when that Ace of Swords, Ace of Coins grounds. That's really nice. Let's just get advice for you. New moon on the bottom, but it didn't come out. Let's just get advice for you on from Source right now. What's advice for this collective right now? Oh, I don't like that. But look at the progression. Hold on. Okay, anyways, but look at, you've got the entire progression. Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, King of Cups. And if I'm asking specifically of what your advice is, I think it really just aligns with kind of how I started this, of just see your growth. Like genuinely just keep focusing on yourself, because for me to also get the intuition that they're not going to show me what comes next. Like it doesn't matter. Once you've gotten to this point, it genuinely doesn't matter. The only reason you would be watching is because something would be calling you to sit and watch the whole thing, right? If it's really for you. But the advice moving forward from all of this, the energy that you're in right now as you're watching this, is just genuinely sit back and look at the progression you've made. Look at like the journey and the lessons and the achievements that you've made. Like that's quite a journey. And the Cups journey is slow. It's not as slow as the Coins journey, but it's a slow one. It takes a long time, which I really harped on too. Let's get one last one for your advice, and we're not going to get outcome. We're just going to get one more for that. The Hermit. From being paralyzed in fear and self-absorbed and fearing isolation and loneliness and the powerlessness, look at how it's evolved. That's really nice because you found perfect balance, the Temperance, union of opposites, but moderation and harmony and tranquility and peace, and you've alchemized all this energy. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and the person you're connected to, their energy is really great. So just accept that a surprise is on its way at some point. I'm sure your signs and your synchronicities, when shit comes in, that's when those things are like really just like. And normally I say, like, don't attribute your signs and synchronicities to anything other than a message for you about yourself. But when you're in the actual twin flame dynamic, it can be a little bit different sometimes. Not in the very beginning, but when you're towards the end of it, like that's when some of those signs and synchronicities can actually just be a message of like, something's on the way or something's about to happen. And it's not more about like doing internal work. You know what I mean? And sometimes they're new too. Like I found that especially when something big is about to land in our life, like we'll get new, but you'll know it as soon as you see it, right? Like something you haven't allocated or designated for you with your team, like you'll just suddenly start seeing it, like before you weren't paying attention to owls, and then for like a week straight, that's all you were seeing in the sky. You weren't even seeing a single house finch or a single dove. It's just all owls. You know what I'm saying? Just came to my mind. Let's see what angel is watching over you guys right now. Angel of lifestyle and affection, generosity, joy, pleasure, optimism, vitality, leisure, heart-centered fulfillment. I inspire joy and support time off in order to live a vibrant, fulfilling, and pleasant life. It is okay to pamper yourself. So maybe just take a little bit of a break. Maybe you had joy in your emotions. So this angel is clearly doing a number on you. But the more you work on that with yourself, because you guys are energetically linked, right? The more you feed that energy through your energetic ties. That's what the red thread is there for, right? You transfer energy back and forth to each other. This is citrine. That's the Libra stone. But maybe July. So maybe this might land in July. Again, I'm not going to get what comes next, but I think this angel has also been around you since July, and take time away. And I said that thing about travel. So you probably do have travel on the cards, or if you don't, because I've brought it up a few times, maybe you need to book a little trip for yourself. One last one. Angel of logic and perseverance, and then appreciation. So help you reap the harvest of your full potential through deliberate process of development. Peridot. And then expand your consciousness by taking time to appreciate beauty and revel in the lusciousness of all creation. Calcite, 4 to 6 months, very likely. So again, things are still evolving. I wanted to see the angel of union. So again, it's not totally in your energy yet, but they want to give you a surprise. So again, not that I think this collective you'd be like fucking watching the clock, but angel number. Renew love. Turning a page and passion. So now is a time to begin again. And you've got new energy, like in around you, new beginning energy with that sunrise card. A chapter in your life has closed. Reinventing yourself is not easy, but it's necessary. Your angels now want you to embrace this reality and combine that with confidence that you are ready to move forward. Draw a card with the intention of receiving angelic guidance on what's to come. Told you in a second, but passion, following your interests. And 301, renewing love. So this would be a relationship in your life that you haven't given a lot of attention to. They're saying you need to give attention to that outside of this person, whoever you're connected to, right? So friends, family, even like pets, children, neighbors, like someone that you love who you haven't been paying attention to as much as you should have. Someone should have already immediately come to your mind. Who in your life could use a little tender, loving care? Think of a way you can show a person you love that that they are still as special to you as the day that you met them. So what's this turning page? Money. Wealth flows to those who already have it. And what did I say? Oh, perfect. That this collective, this message was really for you. You'd be starting to see an uptick in some sort of business venture, abundance venture, right? Because you've got the Ace of Coins twice. Sit for a few moments in quiet appreciation for your presence in life, as if it's already manifested. The key is feeling grateful for what you want, as if you already have it. I love that for you. 525. Ah, amazing. All right, this collective. Remember. Well, this reading's been like 2 hours. I don't know why I would need to give you any more information. Good luck.